Hello, hello, and I hope y'all have a happy holidays. How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? I hope you guys are ready for a holiday season. And why don't we start with our first transition? Anybody can join. We can get some convos off. I don't mind chilling out and doing a convo. Anybody welcome over to the channel. Got a new mouse, by the way. I had to get one from Target. But if anybody is welcome to join, if they wanted to go for the discussion, we are going to be going over one of my favorite pay-per-views from December. Not Dismember. That was on Kick. We are going for Armageddon 2008. If you guys know the main event, tell me your favorite moments from that pay-per-view. If you guys were alive to watch it. Of course, I wasn't able to watch it because family never prioritized pay-per-views. So I had to get the recap of watching the next episode of Raw. And then we just got the DVD. We just rented the DVD on Blockbuster to see the results. Or if also you were just watching the pay-per-view off the highlights on YouTube. But y'all ready for the holidays, bros? Y'all ready for the holidays? Y'all ready for the holidays? Cannot wait. I was watching the Miami Heat versus Toronto Raptors later tonight. It's like, let me just do a treat. I'm going to be reacting. Anybody's welcome to join. If they want to put their 2 cents over on the chat, please let me know. Obviously, I can't display the clip. Oh my lord. Poppin', everybody. So I don't think they displayed the ratings yet for what was happening earlier around the week, especially how fickle the stats are going to get for like Monday Night Raw's rating, no streaming service. All right, let's go. Oh God, that Liv Morgan kissing Dominic Mysterio. That happens to clip. Epic war. John Cena came back and won the World's Heavyweight Championship. The Endless Knife promos already killing it. Oh God, I'm glad we didn't do Survivor Series 2008. Vladimir Kozlov versus Triple H was diabolical. It was good to see Edge though. Oh. And Chris, oh yeah, remember Manu from Legacy? WWE presents Armageddon. There's gotta be royalty-free ass music for this not to be copyrighted. We're live in Buffalo, New York. Possibly where the Sabres play. During the holiday season. Yeah! Woo! And we open up with Matt Harvey, the ECW champion, that beat Mark Henry for it earlier around the middle of the summer. Coming from SmackDown. When I live for the moment. So they show the ECW commentary with Todd Grisham and Matt Striker. Their most something and nothing commentary team ever. You know who Matt Striker is, but Jesus Christ. Todd Grisham, that's more of a backstage announcer. He does interviews regularly. All because Taz, at this time period, went to TNA for commentary, and Joey Styles left the company. And Vladimir Kozlov wearing what looks to be clothes forced upon him. And that headbutt after a cutting edge segment. Choke slamming. Oh God, he has one. Brother has one bloodshot eye. And the champion comes on first is always a red flag. And here comes Vladimir Kozlov, 1 month removed from losing the WWE Championship by Triple H without even getting pinned technically. Yeah, being a stupid boy. So here we go. Matt Hardy versus Vladimir Kozlov to open the show for the ECW Championship. Changing the belt to that silver tinfoil paperweight. We're going to open with an obvious collar and elbow tie-up, and it looks like Matt Hardy just trying to separate himself, not trying to go band for band with Vladimir Kozlov. Testament strength. He knows he's with the power advantage. And I don't know why these guys are squaring up. And whatever the fuck these punches are with Matt Hardy. They're just punching each other. Matt, it's either go for a leg or do something. Andre Chase and Lexus King, what, they're wrestling now? Oh, trading blows. Matt Hardy going over the shoulder. Rolls him over for a pin, barely even a 1 count. Kozlov has him over in the shoulder for a power slam. Gonna take him to the turnbuckle. Matt Hardy going for a schoolboy. 1, 2, near fall. Pushes him over face chest first into the turnbuckle. Back body suplex, but it looks like he was trying to hold over a log. Because he's Slavic, folks. Oh! He became an actor, and then I saw him on Impact a few times. I don't know if he's still a regular appearance or he's just doing part-time wrestling now. Oh yeah, Vladimir Kozlov had a lot of arsenal with his headbutts. That's what we call a stunt granny. Over the shoulder, hooking over the arm, and it looks like they're selling over that shoulder, that injured pectoral, with some type of arm bar. In this chat, would rather talk anything else but the match and being dead ass. Dun, 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 dun. Kozlov just working on that arm still. Matt Hardy battles back with a jaw-breaking stunner. The cut off the submission. And Matt Hardy battling with those right hands and a headbutt. Instead of Kozlov using his hands to punish, he's just using them to just hold Matt Hardy so he doesn't escape near fall. Ooh. There's no shot you had a comparison of a real life event to this, bro. A world championship is opening the show. Don't try to denounce it like it's some worldwide event. Right now, Vladimir Kozlov is just selling that arm again, and we're still the rest holds. Good the Matt Striker trying to make this prevalent to Matt Hardy's arsenal. Face of perfection. And Kozlov still working over on that arm. And Matt Hardy finally grabs the rope. Ooh, and he just awkwardly face first into the rope to stun Vladimir Kozlov, pulling his neck first into the top rope. Shoulder tackles to get him out of distance. Matt Hardy going high risk. Axe handle. That boy bouncy. And then just tosses Vladimir Kozlov outside the ring. Going for a running crossbody from the ring apron. Kozlov holds him over. And runs him face first into the steel post. Face first again. Bro, if we're hitting, like, usually around those spots, they just bust the guy open. Pause, by the way. Massive pause. I still have no idea how they're so happy saying that out loud in public. Going for the side effect, selling that arm, and that did nothing, bro. When you do spots that just go to nowhere, where it's like, well, his hold on the side effect is weaker than usual. I can take advantage. No, not really. Then Matt Hardy's double stepping on Kozlov's hand. Going for the twist of fate, reverses. Kozlov. Ooh. One, two. No, and Matt Hardy holds the rope. Let me display the card so you see what match we're on. Still in near fall. Ooh. Yet again trying to brawl. And we forgot to tell that Matt Hardy had one arm on a sling. Face first to the top of the steel post for Kozlov to reverse. Kozlov trying to collect himself, finding the opportunity to do some bullshit push. No, I'm kind of glad it didn't push Vladimir Kozlov. Ooh. One, two, three. You have Matt get pinned on pay-per-view on the match opener, and that wasn't even for a championship? Well, I guess that's redemption to having him lose relevance at the world title scene. Let me guess, he lost on the next episode of ECW. And of course, it was on the main event. What they had 4 matches booked on Sci-Fi at the time. Yeah, you know, stay very bored. After this stream, I'm going for my walk. I'm still really conflicted about that John Cena booking. But I know people are just going to just shut me off and just say, "Oh, that was just part of the story." What story? A month off? Is that a month-long way of content after getting squashed like that, and most of these losses ending nowhere? Nobody got fucking elevated off this John Cena story, except somewhat Cody Rhodes. But we've rarely seen Cody Rhodes. You guys don't watch Cody Rhodes. I say this, and I'm being a hater. So why is the viewership down? That's not John Cena's fault. Yeah, you're right. Nobody was fucking blaming John Cena. Bruh. Edge is mocking Matt Hardy's loss, and they have history. And Chavo Guerrero. Oh my God. Chavo Guerrero trying to pester Vicky Guerrero, get the right answer. Craziest part, Chavo Guerrero opened the calendar year as like a world champion. Now this guy is not two sugars and milk. Oh, when did Vicky Guerrero? I forgot what time Vicky Guerrero developed the screaming gimmick. The excuse me part. Who did do it? And now we have the SmackDown commentary. Remember that dumbass draft that had Jim Ross? Yeah, I didn't know we started drafting who a democracy will get the truth. Really? No. Is it fun? Yes. Was it Vladimir Kozlov, Triple H, Edge, or other? I think everybody knows the right answer. You could have saved this for Cyber Sunday. Just go on WWEshop.com. Oh God, it's Hornswoggle. Oh my God, Hornswoggle. That's sexual harassment. Sexual harassment. Oh God, that segment would not fly. Oh my goodness, just seeing Eve Torres. Oh my God, guys! Like from all the current the female wrestlers right now, man. All due respect, you give me Eve Torres, bro. I'd be satisfied with just her wrestling. We'll just have her squash people every freaking night. I don't give a damn. Just I stop what I'm doing when I see her do a twerk and a moonsault. All due respect. All due respect. She's doing great though after her early retirement. I think most of the time she just went over to like businesses and and just family life. I think she kind of just started being a mother after her wrestling. She transitioned. I think she stopped around like 2013 to around like 2013 after the John Laurinaitis angle kind of transitioned. Then they had her as a GM for like a short amount of time. Yeah, kind of just transitioned until then. And Hornswoggle, he kind of became more unpleasant. I swear, 2009 Hornswoggle made me want to shoot this show. Listen, son, you grab her by the put. Finley, no. Finley, no. Well, I guess Finley has a match. And that match will be happening with Mark Henry versus Finley in a Belfast brawl. Continental champion. William Regal, the Intercontinental champion, the tournament with Layla. that was a member of Lay Cool, a Hall of Fame. I'm sorry. Honestly, let me stop the video. Hold on. You guys really think Lake like let's keep it a stack. Michelle McCool already was a felt like DEI, her making it to the Hall of Fame. Sure, it wasn't DEI, but it was kind of. Knowing her only involvement was people knowing that she got married by The Undertaker. That's the only reason. Because there's no shot we look at Michelle McCool's career. Because you can't tell me that she deserved to make the Hall of Fame over women like Victoria. You can't. For sure, she was one of the very few women that won the women's championship and the Divas title. Bro, you can't name me her top 5 best matches, dog. Come on, nobody brings up the part when she was like fat shaming Mickey James into a Royal Rumble pay-per-view match that nobody watched. Then her just being a groupie supporter with Vicky Guerrero for like most of 2010. Then ending up in a feud involving Natalia that nobody watched. I only remember this because I'm a fan. Not a lot of fans in the current era were either watching around that time period, were alive during that time period, or fell out with WWE around the span of the PG era. And that's facts. And I stopped watching like WWE for like a time period for around like 2013, like around mid 2013 to 2014. So I came back in 2015. It's one now. For a couple years ago. That's my forever. So next up is the number one contenders match for the IC title tournament involving King of the Ring winner and Intercontinental Champion William Regal. And wasn't he the GM of Raw? Yes, Regal. I would say he's an underrated performer. He's an underrated act. But you niggas gotta stop putting him in your top 5 most underrated anything, bro. He's a good comedic gimmick that had decent range. If you put him in a smaller promotion, he would have been a decorated world champion or authority figure. And I'm sure it was personal. What was it? Taking performance enhancing drugs and getting caught with like PEDs the time he was getting booked to win the world champion. Type shit. William Regal's underrated, idiot. So Rey Mysterio versus CM Punk. And all I remember about this match is like CM Punk winning and Rey Mysterio having getting a bloody mouth. Or that was CM Punk. And Rey Mysterio started doing this cool thing, when he had like the secondary mask and then he had the primary mask. And giving the secondary mask to a fan. I don't know why he stopped doing that. Jesus Christ. So the tournament for the Intercontinental Championship involved Kane, Rey Mysterio, Kofi Kingston. Kofi beats Kane. Then sadly, Kofi lost to Rey Mysterio to proceed while Rey Mysterio was coming off of his first match against The Miz. Finlay faced John Morrison. John Morrison beats Finlay in the first round to proceed to face off against CM Punk after Punk beats Gene Snitsky. Yes, remember him. That nigga had yellow teeth around that time period. Then he flew off to do indie shit. I think he's over in NWA now. Booyaka, booyaka, 619. Booyaka, booyaka. That's my booyaka. And Rey Mysterio winning this tough little nerds Bape collab. I wish he did more collaborations. Well, it's not. Well, it doesn't have to be trendy. I just like the style with the half black, half pink. It's really giving that Miami vibe. You want to pick again? You have to front again? Is dead man walking? And Rey Mysterio on Raw, he had quiet feuds with like a chain around this year. Oh wait, we playing? Oh, tomorrow. Oh, we have the Christmas Day game against the Cavaliers. Oh, give it to my hand, let my tool boy. We've been through again, 'cause fire burns. Oh. I keep forgetting Kofi and CM Punk for like a tag team. I don't know why they stopped because they were still baby faces around the time. I think CM Punk went to SmackDown after cashing in again. Oh yeah, they did the Slammies where Morrison and Miz were tag team of the year. I'm shocked they don't do that more often. Intercontinental Championship Tournament Finals. Who will face William Regal? Kofi, Rey Mysterio, former world champion, he hasn't been lucky this in 2008. Kept losing to Edge for the World Heavyweight Championship. Lost at the Rumble. While Punk, he was coming out of his title loss after never losing the World Heavyweight Championship due to Randy Orton assault. It's some respect because two baby faces going at it. Y'all would see Kofi and CM Punk get more of a collective feud around 2010. I'm sure you guys remember the Straight Edge Society for that one. And Kofi is already starting with somewhat of a Fujiwara armbar, going for the schoolboy to immediately make Rey Mysterio react to break the pinfall. Remember if you guys were watching CM Punk back in the day, they tried to describe his moveset of having an MMA background into it because he did a lot of kicks and obviously a technician at the time, but he does high risk. You don't hear that about his wrestling style now. And going for some cross leg breaker into an STF style maneuver, going straight to a headlock. It's so crazy to see a young CM Punk, bro. A lack of a beard. You see him with the dirty mop cut, bro. Punk looks like that he's coming from behind a clerk's desk before he comes in as a professional wrestler. It's crazy. Yeah, but time flies. Time flies. Oh, the Nuggets are playing the Dallas Mavericks on Amazon. Oh boy. Anthony Davis versus Nikola Jokic. I think Anthony Davis knows how this works. He's gonna get his ass handed to him. Rey Mysterio, shoulder tackle. His last world title win was 2006. WrestleMania 26. Warner Brothers Games holiday sale. 85% off. Yeah, you guys are cooked. One, two. I bet that's because of the Netflix deal too. Warner Bros. Really cooked when it comes to the DC policies. Rey Mysterio trying to make it go his own pace to dominate, going for the 619 and then a hip toss. Two back-to-back hip tosses by CM Punk, going straight for the GTS immediately. Both men knowing the type of pace they can go by, but they need the match to fall for their favors. Over the shoulders. Oh, God. Layla mocking Rey Mysterio. He didn't become Intercontinental Champion until 2009 against JBL, so you have to wait a little bit. Referee's going to a 3 count here at the outside. CM Punk catch it. Yo, that was head first, dog. Rey Mysterio went head first. William Regal looking mockingly at the dominance in display here after tossing Rey Mysterio a harsh fall and then a springboard crossbody outside. Irish whip. Ooh, tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. 1, 2. I love whenever Punk did that. That and his double hook back tilt-a-whirl backbreaker was tough. Punk had a lot more arsenal. I know these guys would have like a limited move set because they get older. But I'm telling you, bro, young CM Punk, he has some tough maneuvers. Has him in a body scissors. So Rey Mysterio can't escape anywhere. It's like having a little bit of a mouse trap. Rey Mysterio turns into a double hook pinfall with the legs by CM Punk. First match was like a D plus, bro. I don't expect much off Vladimir Kozlov. Irish whip, overhead scissors to stop him. Ooh, shoulder tackle to the midsection. Rey Mysterio trying to go for a moonsault, but stomps Rey Mysterio off his tracks and makes him lose balance from the top, hooking his legs. Oh God! Sound burying kicks over to the back. Ooh, moonsault! Moonsault by Rey Mysterio. 2. No, near fall off the moonsault out of nowhere. Oba Femi showed up for once. Why y'all saying that like he's a shitty wrestler? Y'all really be fickle with the way you want to critique these new stars. No, 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 no. Whenever I hear kill switching Glage burn, all I hear is freaking. All I see is the WWE SVR 11 June 27th, 2002 to December 13th, 2025. Back over to Rey Mysterio's arms, selling, trying to settle his limbs, to making sure he limits him going for the 619. And the referee trying to convince it. Oh, look at this. Edge switches on the right time. CM Punk trying to ask for him to give in. And Rey Mysterio, knowing this is not in the MO, he knows what's on the line here. And he hooks the ropes in the right time. Rey Mysterio breaks the hold. Over going for a high kick. Spin, tilt-a-whirl. Oh, into a Fujiwara armbar. Fujiwara armbar by Rey Mysterio off of what looked to be a Hurricane Rana to just catch CM Punk off guard. Punk, he needs that self-discipline to get that rope break, not to goon on NXT women. Get this pervert. It's a rope break. Yeah, it's a rope break. Sorry, folks. Sorry. Never give up. Never what? Never give up. Never what? Never give up. Never what? Oh, drops him over, but too much power couldn't hook him for the 619. But Edge is not. Sorry. Oh my god. How am I confusing two completely different looking guys? CM Punk is now outside of the ring, but that means one thing: Rey Mysterio got to go for glory. going straight for a crossbody outside. Rey Mysterio goes for a splash from the outside. Incapacitates CM Punk, but for how long? We can't have both men lose. Who will face Regal? And a crossbody by Rey Mysterio for the pinfall. No, it's still a near fall. This has been already automatically the best match so far after the Matt Hardy Vladimir Kozlov match. Oh, trying to hook him from behind. Rolls shoulders down over the head scissors. Hooks for the reversal, near fall, and it's just been a great trade. Christmas Eve tomorrow, y'all. What do y'all want? What do y'all want? Because I'm not giving it to you. I just want to know. I can't give you a present. I can't afford to care for your present. Oh, going straight for a kick, and these men are trading blows. CM Punk pushes off Rey Mysterio, going for his running high knee from the corner. Rey Mysterio, ooh, face first, lifts him over the shoulders to launch him face first into the turnbuckle and goes for the running high knee bulldog combination. CM Punk. Oh my god! Too bad I can't show this. 1, 2, near fall. Already a really underrated match. Nobody talks about the Punk match unless like you go on like Well Culture or some shit. Yeah, I think this is the part where like Rey Mysterio was like bleeding. I don't think it was the turnbuckle. I think it was the knee. Rey Mysterio trying to elbow, hooks him over the legs. Look at this smart pinfall by Rey Mysterio. Who hooks the legs as soon as he flips over CM Punk from under the hands like a judo fighter. Unbelievable. Swashbuckling style of Mysterio. Yo, Michael Cole, take a walk. You luchadors, and you hear it. You hear swashbuckling 6, 1, 9. Oh no! CM Punk gets out of the way at the right time. Go to sleep. GTS. Hurricane Rana to reverse, but he lands on the rope still. 619. Oh, but the splash over the top rope goes nowhere. CM Punk lifts his upper half up to get out of the maneuver. That CM Punk chance, but CM Punk can't hear it. Going for a crucifix roll. Goes nowhere for a near fall. Yeah, this is like what the first time you guys get to hear like Jerry the King Lawler and Michael Cole be a commentary before you get heel Michael Cole trying to go for a spin out Hurricane Rana. GTS cover 1 to the head. Oh my god, what the hell? What a match. Punk bleeding from the face. William Regal looking very impressed. Punk knowing what he had to do. As much as he respected Rey Mysterio, he had to get past him. And god damn! Yeah, that GTS hit him straight in the nose. Oh damn. What from the I like this more than Cult of Personality. I'm sorry, you guys can hate me all you want. Cult of Personality is a hit, but oh my god. I could hear Kill Switch Engage when I work out. Cult of Personality is valid, but it's okay. It's a good song though. Y'all have an underrated theme song. If y'all know Ball, y'all know who Marcus Corvon is. That's my favorite theme song of all time. If y'all play whatever, just know you guys need to be better than your family members. Never want to be held down. Never want to be set aside. Never aside. It's mine. You did what you were just Punk will match up against William Regal. I think he did win against William Regal. And Punk had some relative fanfare, but he wasn't at the level where he'd be like world champion regular until like later in his career. But he was getting himself up there. But I think but now I think Punk does have more relative heat after returning to the WWE because of the hypocrisy between the statements he had with AEW. You know, it happens. What the hell's with the green? Oh, that's Jeff Hardy. Jeff, when are you gonna stop grabbing that brass ring? You bitch ass. Sorry, folks. Jeff Hardy's gonna start pulling it out. And bro, I hate when he was trying to get that over. Nobody can get behind my imagination, bro. I do like these things when he's doing this with a face paint on, and he looks more methodic. W, he's champion. Remember the economic crash around 2008? I don't want to try to transition this to something political, but it was a part of history involving the economic crash of 2008 because around the 2000s, as soon as the presidential campaign happened, uh, nobody was good with money. Nobody was. And then the economic crash again got everything massively expensive. Everybody was in debt, really struggling out there. So they did a thing where somehow Shawn Michaels was like in economic trouble, and yet he was using somebody as like a lever to help him out, but he had to do dirty work for him. You know, JBL, because you know he's only like millionaire tycoon. That was at the world title scene at the time. After his rivalry with John Cena around '08. Yeah, they rekindled the rivalry around the summer. John Cena and JBL. The next step is a Belfast Brawl, I'm guessing. I've noticed the Frank Shaw. You got bills to pay, Sean. You have bills to pay. If this was Eddie Guerrero, he would have already hit him. Give me the cookie. Gave me the cookie. Got you cookie. Here. Two. Match of the year 2008. And JBL takes brother taxes his Slammy award. Ding 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 ding. Da-da-dun, da-da-dun, dun, da-da-dun, da-da-dun, dun. So this was like the equivalent of like what MJF could try to be, but he's like too young looking and he just lacks to like illa like the brother doesn't look like he has no authority. Like JBL already with the tycoon gimmick, like you can tell because the nigga has a grown man. He's 6'5". Brother can look tough. He does powerhouse looking moves. Like that's why the JBL gimmick worked. Jim, you can only afford a spinner belt from Walmart, bro. You look broke. Get a replica. Flex with your replica championship and your lack of deodorant, like any other wrestling fan. Yeah, all y'all wrestling fans got to stop looking musty, bro. It's either wrestling events dressed like an adult or a fan. That's it. That's it. Don't come dress bringing a Final Fantasy 17. Don't bring up a Final Fantasy 7 is better than a remake sign in a wrestling event. It gets me tight. I know some of y'all coming from anime cons, musty as hell. And I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be like one of those wrestling fans that be like, I watch wrestling, but anime's corny. Like, nigga, just shut the fuck up. We're all displaying our disbeliefs. The array of boos knowing Shawn Michaels can't do anything to the guy that holds his job in his. I'm sure Triple H wasn't involved in the storyline a lot. Oh yeah, he was on SmackDown. I know I'm sick. Got the look. Bro, I missed the Armageddon stage so much. Really up and down there. I'm not you. I'm just a sexy boy. Oh god, Kalani Jordan. Oh god, she looks like a Disney girl. Wherever I'm around, you need me to. You need me more. Oh, New Japan's Hiroshi Tanahashi looks back on his career in his final Kuroken Hall match, 26 years after his debut. My debut. How did I make it? How did it go by so fast? And I think it's because I gave everything to it. Okay. I mean, I appreciate WWE going for like a real life situation, like the market crash around 2008. But that's crazy. They kind of dismiss it later. I blew it on I blew it up on Jordans. That's cool, but how did you be broke? Hope you guys have a Merry Christmas Eve if you guys are watching the stream after as well. Some brother about an old, what looked like an old poster from the '90s of Shawn Michaels. Oh yeah, Mick Foley. I think Mick is wrong, but nevertheless, he's entitled to his opinion. I will defend his right to say that, even if I do think he's wrong. That's the beauty of America. I wish that we could all get over the place as opposed to just in wrestling. I wish that that kind of be all over the place as opposed to just in wrestling. Oh yeah, what Kane like heavily conservative? Because I know Mick Foley is heavily like libertarian. I'm shocked they don't do segments of him doing regular jobs. I saw this nigga over in the soup kitchen, and it's like, "Hey, I'm over in the soup kitchen. Let's do DX." You know, we could have done a backstage segment of this. Other than just push over the reaction that if Sean is poor, he'll keep doing this until he pays off JBL's debt. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing to display that you're in financial trouble, but shit. You're not doing errands for the man. I'm shocked that JBL wasn't doing errands for JBL. Go do my car, Maggle. Wash my limousine, Maggle. I'm not Michael Cole. All right, you'll see in the future. And I guess this seals in fate with a handshake that Shawn Michaels is in the debt of JBL. And Shawn Michaels made the right choice. We'll find out in the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. Oh, wait. Do I have it? The button gotta have it, bro. Oh, shit. I'm using it. So weird to see how young and scrawny. Well, not really scrawny, particularly lean, incredibly lean shape. I, oh, Manu, shut the fuck. In other words. Oh God. Manu just looks like that Jack Black video game with every Bloodline member that's not from the original Bloodline. Oh my God. How long till that guy was released? Yo. Well, yeah, I think it's from the network in the ASBC arena. The '08 Buffalo Bills. The '08 Buffalo Bills. Just not what Terrell Owens was still on the Bengals. No way. I'm sorry, folks. He was a cowboy, wasn't he? 2008 Buffalo Bills. Peyton Manning won Offensive Player of the Year. He was MVP. Offensive Rookie. No, the Offensive Player of the Year was Drew Brees. 5,000 passing yards. and Adrian Peterson somehow led the league with rushing yards, 1,700. The Buffalo Bills that were bottom of the AFC, yeah. This is late 2000s New York Jets where they were actually a respectable football team. Having a 9-7 record, actually trying to contend over a wild card spot. This is Dick Jurgens' Buffalo Bills, where their starting quarterback was Trent Edwards. Then PJ Lawson. But you know who else they had on their team? Marshawn Lynch. Brother was 22 at the time. Pro Bowl season, Marshawn Lynch. He only had 300 receiving, but he had a 1,000 rushing yards with a 46 success rate, 8 TDs. Fred Jackson, underrated, not really underrated, but he was a serviceable starting receiver for a couple of seasons. I'm sure more people were notable for their defense more than their offense on the Buffalo Bills. But not really that many notable names. But that's how it was. It's good to see them be here. Y'all have to do this on another pay-per-view. Survivor Series like a while ago. Somebody gonna get there. Next up, the Belfast Brawl between former ECW World Champion Mark Henry and Tony Atlas. Now, if you don't know Tony Atlas, y'all think he was that funny guy that laughs like Jake from Adventure Time over in the Abraham Washington show? But no, brother has some OG history as a black man in the WWE, being part of a tag team with Soul Rocky Johnson. The Rock's father, he was his tag team partner. And he was in a legitimate tag team with him. Until they broke apart. I think they get somewhat in depth, but kind of fabricated in the Soul Rocky Johnson show. I think the fabrication comes over to some backstage talk, and I think The Rock's questionable time in college football. Now Finley showing, and then we have an obvious explanation why Hornswoggle is backstage to make sure there's a deal with Mark Henry, treating him like a victim, saving a bullet. Is that Savio Vega? 1, 2, 3. Bro, was that Savio fucking Vega? Why was he on an episode of ECW? Did they give him? Did they give him Hornswoggle's theme song? Finley, I'm Finley, and I love to fight. Doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo. Like that's his theme. So just a regular street fight. Finley making sure that nobody's in danger, and of course Tony Atlas showing those big guns he got. Oh, oh shit! Thank God he caught his foot on the ropes to make sure he doesn't take a flat fall. But now Finley feeling his leg, knowing he took a disruptive but still painful fall outside of the ring. Oh, but he trips and right into the Raw commentary desk, but it's not Hispanic. Ooh, but over to the ring post. Mark Henry reverses and Irish whips and over to the ring apron. Ooh, but right over to also to the crash pad near the barricade, near the hard camera, and Finley battling back. This is going to be a massive brawl. Finley knows he's doing this for his son, work son. You know how there's a work husband and a work wife at work? Finley got a work son, and I mean that in wrestling terms because they treated the leprechaun Hornswoggle like an actual child. Him sexually harassing women was just be him being playful. No, it's a deranged little person taking advantage of his looking innocence, and he's harassing the females at work. Well, we can't do anything about that, Eve. I apologize. He keeps touching my butt. What do you want me to do? And I wonder, well, oh, kendo sticks are coming into play. Kendo sticks in the trash bin. and and more stuff is coming out. Tony Atlas just witnessing the carnage Finley wants to put with two trash cans and kendo sticks and more kendo sticks and more trash cans. And is that some fence? Tony Atlas tried to disrupt using a trash lid. Oh, Mark Henry will as well after Finley kicked away Tony Atlas. Lizard. And Mark Henry taking his time trying to find a way how to. Oh no! Ooh, that signature run under the top rope, and that's brutal as hell. That's a brutal as hell move. I love that move Mark Henry does, dog. That's what I do. Wait, is that what he said? Oh, you gotta fight. You gotta fight for your life to party. Ooh, another right hand. Ooh, but it disrupts Mark Henry's momentum of a trash can to the face, enough to get a kendo stick and go straight for the legs for the damn near 400-pound Mark Henry. Finally has them in equal fit. Oh, equal size and goes straight for a DDT. Damn. Mark Henry still Finley trying to use every weapon that he can find near his disposal. Ooh. Wait, they're making MLB 2K? I'm about to say, folks, if they bring back MLB 2K, I might be interested. The show is good, but it feels like every time it just they're going the Madden syndrome, where like back in the day they were like praised for being one of the real simulators of sports games nowadays. And I used to enjoy the NHL games too. I thought I had fun. I actually liked the franchise mode. Oh no, there's the shillelagh. Oh, but a big boot by Mark Henry, face first, and Finley to cut him off. And Mark Henry snaps apart the most reliable tool in Finley's playbook, the shillelagh, and sadly, oh, a kendo stick could do, but Mark Henry no sells that shit and headbutts him. Oh no, Panda Bear. Did he say that he can't or they can? Panda bears can break bamboo. Matt, how you think they're gonna eat them? Pandas can just lay on the bamboo stick, and then when they got a smaller piece, they just rip it apart with their mouths. They can break bamboo. That's all they eat. Bamboos are sorry folks. Pandas are cute. That doesn't escape retardation. Like pandas are really stupid. I'm not saying that to be a dick. That's how they are. We gotta live with it. The animal kingdom can be beautiful, painful, disgusting, and stupid. You like koalas? Bam, they're retarded. They feed shit to their children. I'm being dead ass to you. They feed their babies crap, their own feces, and the babies will willingly eat it. Oh, but look at this, Hornswoggle. He was asked not to interfere. Hornswoggle's just a little boy. He's just a little boy. Why is he taking a smoke break? And he is crushing Finley with a trash can like he's on a car press. Oh my god. Oh god. And now the steel steps are coming into play. Essentially. Y'all early in the year. Damn! A drop kick to the lower part of the knee to loosen the balance of the spear shillelagh by Hornswoggle. Face first to Mark Henry for the cover. One, two, three. A little hope my family didn't hurt anybody, unless you're Shawn Michaels financially. Armageddon. Well, broken shillelagh, but he still got a new one. Oh, but he gave the broken part to Hornswoggle. Give me the broke ass part, Dad, because I'm half size. Fuck you. And now here we go, our holiday center segment with all the divas dressed up in festive gear, but not that revealing. It's Santa Hoss. Ho ho ho! All these hoes. Ho, ho. This, this we have our little Santa helper match, or get these sluts in Christmas gear and have them have a match. That's give or take 3 minutes. Is that Victoria? Damn. Man, and I'm coming to get you. Oh, and gold dust comes home. That mistletoe. Oh no, bruh. Oh wow, the boogeyman gives gold dust a present. It's Santa Claus with all these hoes. That Festus thing, Jesse and Festus. IRS. Why is Mike Yoda here? Why is Mike Yoda here? Peter. Hi, Mr. Kennedy. Okay. What? Shit, was this the equivalent of just Mr. Kennedy not touching the ring because he got some heat, or because this nigga wasn't getting booked, but he was still under contract? And that's a shame to say that because I liked Mr. Kennedy. He had a good upper mid card gimmick. It was obvious they were trying to elevate him around '07. He got heat after it was like the NBA Finals. It was the Western Conference Finals. It was a tag match where the wrestlers had to dress up wearing Nuggets and Lakers jerseys, and then a back body suplex by Kennedy hits on Randy Orton the wrong way, and Orton was out with a shoulder injury, and that got heat with Mr. Kennedy, and he was shown to be unsafe in the wrestling ring. And the worst thing to have a stigma in a wrestling business is being unsafe and untrustworthy. So he got heat, and now the equivalent of you getting buried, you've been put into a DVD first release when WWE was trying to make their own Hollywood. A WWE cinematic universe was Vince's plan. Yeah, Kennedy, Kennedy. You're gonna watch a movie, Jim? I think I got work. You're 8. Oh, no, I'm not watching the fucking movie, Jim. You know we're gonna watch Elf. You know we're gonna watch Elf. Next up, Batista. Peak ruthless aggression. Batista looked like an action star, moved like an action star, and explosive like one, bro. Shut up and take this after pill before I kick you in the skull. Hey! Yeah, I think this is the last year burn of my life. At this point, I think he was in my voices territory now. Yeah, I think it was mid 2008. It was after. It was right after WrestleMania. The culmination. It's around Prime Orton territory. Y'all didn't get Ball Orton yet. Yeah, na, 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 na. Yes. Next, we got Batista versus Randy Orton with Legacy in Orton's corner. I walk along. Hooah! All these people coming with separate cameras instead of using regular cell phones. And then I saw a brother with a flip phone. Like, oh damn, that's probably a that's probably a BlackBerry. Somebody came in with a freaking BlackBerry. And this is 2008, bro. A lot of this stuff I grew up around, so this is crazy work. Leave the memories alone. Like, damn, man. Y'all showed me flip phones. WWE.com, when you guys actually did votes for live things that were happening in the show. How Uncas is gonna make me, dog? Walk for miles inside this pit of danger. The place, but no one follows me. I walk alone. Higher voices in my head. It's crazy now that the songs are so over with the fans now for how long they hear it. I think this all happened with the Judas theme by Chris Jericho. Now people find it okay to just make the event all about them. Yes, Savior. So no Ted DiBiase Jr. at all. How do I tell? And this is like Manu. That's his name, right? Manu. Yeah, Manu. It's like I don't think you fit a poster, Manu. What? So Cody, he looks like a young heartthrob. Randy looks like we could put him in a magazine. Manu, you look not even close to Umaga, so bro, no. All I know is you got love handles and wet hair. And Kevin wasn't even signed with the company yet. He was still in Ring of Honor. Well, well, this is what is known.
I think love is calling, voices calling, something calling. I have voices in my head, they talk to me, they understand, they talk to me.
Oh, 4 seconds for three. Oh no! Peyton Watson misses a game-deciding three-pointer. The Nuggets lose to the Mavericks. Cooper Flag picks up a win against a three-time MVP. Oh my goodness. What a loss. But what a victory for the rookie. Oh my goodness. 131 to 130 Nuggets lose, bro. Ooh. And I bet Nikola Jokic dominated that game, bro. I'm such a fan of watching that guy play. Sorry, I did nothing wrong, by the way, backstage. Nothing illegal happened, I swear. And you fans better not snitch. I'm better than you nutting. I'm better than you wearing oil. Seriously, Randy Orton, don't get me wrong, had a good look. I don't think he would ever play a babyface in any role. He, bro, he'd be oiled like a motherfucker in the ring, bro. And this is a wrestling business. I'm sure like oil's like the third option. And Orton's been doing this for a long time, as long as Cena. But the only difference is Cena was like mid-20s. Wasn't Orton like what, 23, 22? He's in his early 20s. Orton didn't even scratch his mid-20s yet around when he won the World Heavyweight title. It was like 04, he was like 25. And a shoulder tackle, Orton trying to use her momentum, but you're not trying to use a freight train to go over a boulder, aren't you? And Batista's built like a brick house. You want to deal with that? Orton just backing up like the bitch he is, but he just does that to catch Batista off balance. And look at Cody Rhodes taking advantage of the referee maintaining Orton under control and maybe blindside Batista. The referee stops. Mike Chioda cuts it off. Immediately, they get Legacy off the ringside. Already getting their shots on Batista, but they would notice when only the referee caught the attempt, the second attempt. And now the Legacy are banned from ringside, sent back to the showers. Oh, is this when they were signaling to call him the Viper? Around our way? For the ring up and they pray, oh, watch out, watch out, watch out. Oh, no, that was 05. That was like what, 05, 06? The, I apologize. Somebody snitched. I'm kidding. That was fire department nearby, folks. I'm shocked to like imagine the amount of psychology for majority of the matches I've seen today when it came to like the selling, even in the Vladimir Kozlov Matt Hardy match, and how fun the Rey Mysterio CM Punk match was. And don't get me wrong, the Mark Henry match was okay with Finley, but it was like average. Not a lot of drama. Finley wasn't really struggling, even though he was getting overpowered in the numbers game on him, but he was still handling himself until like Hornswoggle came up. They just give him an extra shillelagh. If only they added more weapons to show like Mark was in control. Ooh, and a clothesline by Batista though. Over the shoulder again. I swear certain feuds just didn't work. I don't know why. Randy Orton and the other powerhouses never worked that much. They try to do the same thing where they try to spam feuds with him versus Sheamus, but they were never over at all. And Batista bomb, Orton trying to escape. Look at this. He hops over the shoulder. Back neck breaker. Batista feeling it now. But for how long? Got him in that awkward bicep head headlock. Trying to keep Batista grounded. But he gets him countering with a scoop slam. Oh, Irish whip. Over the shoulders, counters with a kick to disrupt. Thanks, Mr. Kennedy. Size. Let me stop being petty. I'm here to show the world. Oh, elevated DDT. Going for the cover. 1, 2. No. Instinct. You know why we go for the torta? Instinct. Vintage Orchid. Just doing those vintage stomps to the face. Orton's doing that vintage shit on a woman's bag. Ooh, and the knee drop to the top of the head on Batista. And look at this. Obviously, Orton has found his target to try to incapacitate Batista and knock him out, trying to give him blood trauma. Holding over to the arm to make sure there was no rope break and it's still a near fall. And a headlock. Thank you for showing me the replica, bro. I know you got it. Hell, I might get a replica too, bro. I need more decorum for my room. I barely have that other than the shoe rack and the swords. Batista, Batista, Batista. Snapmare. Reversal by Batista into another headlock. Yo, I don't know why. Yo, this is a pet peeve. I hate this. We're in like a third half into the match, and you're trying to push over for sleeper holds. And I guess this makes sense because Randy Orton been targeting the temple a lot for Batista, trying to gut him knocked out. So he's trying to push like sleeper holds, trying to like I guess knock him out the smarter way. Mamma mia! Shout out to Mauro Ranallo. Ooh, into a sidewalk slam by Batista. Finally built some momentum, but look at him holding over his head. He knows the damage has been done on it pretty good. Ah, both men are down, and Kyoto got to do the count. Both men trading blows. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Batista getting more of the better of the blow to blow matchup. Pause. Pause. Going for a power slam. Into a lariat. Cuts off Orton from the ropes. And he clotheslines him back outside. Orton. Wait, what the fuck did that fan say? I swear he said a slur. And I support it. Ooh. He saw it coming. He saw it coming. There's a superplex by Randy Orton on Batista. Both men are down. Batista is down. Batista is down. Batista is down. Batista is down. We get it. Batista is down, Booker. We get it. Batista is down. Weren't you still under TNA contract? Batista is down. Shout out to King Booker, guys. Too many, bro. I'd praise. I'd glaze. I'm not gonna lie. I'd glaze King Booker too much. Spine Buster. Signature Spine Buster by Batista for the cover. 1, 2. Near fall. He's still feeling the head, knowing the damage, plenty of damage Orton has done to it. Going back to that DDT to the knee drop, a lot of shots to the head. Orton going for the RKO out of nowhere. Fallaway slam, a fallaway slam for a near fall by Batista. Still nothing. Mamma mia! 2. No. And Orton doing the whole thing when he pounds. I think it was 2010. He like broke his wrist because of it. Going straight over. Oh, back body to body slam. Good transition, and that's barely a near fall. Batista thought he had the match won, catching Orton warming up for the RKO. Orton was coiling for the RKO. Get it? Because he's the Viper. Get up! Look at this photograph. Orton. Oh no! Going for the punt kick. He's won the WWE title with that before, but a spine buster. Oh, just to transition him to the turnbuckle. Oh no way! Orton's trying to pull him over. Oh, but instead of an Alabama slam, it turns into a Batista bomb. Finally has him. 1, 2, 3. I walk for miles inside this pit of danger. Great match, Batista. Can't wait to award you with sorry to disrupt, but Beyonce had the best music video of the year. Not this white bitch. Oh wow. Wow. He went full Kanye West with that. I still remember. That's why he pulled up with the glasses and the collar shirt. That was all a callback. Ever know I'm not gonna put you the longest victim and I said I'll walk the miles inside this pit of danger. I'll walk. Yeah. Mm. Dun, 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 dun. And Batista gets the upper hand without Legacy helping Orton walk the miles inside this pit of danger. I'll swallow down with years of anger. Puppies! And best tag team of the year went to Miz and John Morrison, the Dirt Sheet. Diva of the Year, Beth Phoenix with her dominant run as women's champion for most of the year. Oh my God moment, Punk cashing in on CM Punk. Punk cashing in on Edge at the draft to become World Heavyweight Champion. Couple of the Year, Edge and Vicky. So why only Vicky Guerrero show up? Damn. Oh, champion versus champion match on Raw. So after Orton and Cena. Oh, what's popping, John Jay? Oh, you're backstage. What's popping, John? How you doing?
Yo, I'm out of jail. I was back there for a while. I was
Yeah, it's
about to
been a
leave.
while. How's everything going?
Anyway, winter break, nothing going on for a while.
Oh, that's good.
I did a stream yesterday. Corona was there. Spongy was there for a little bit. He kept popping in and out. You see who else was there? Oh, yeah, Ghetto Kid was there for a little bit.
Was it on Cake or YouTube?
YouTube.
Oh,
Basically, what was I gonna say? Sunday night, Niners are playing. I'm doing that game. And then
good.
for sure, they're going to flex the game, the Niners and the Seahawks on prime time. So the Niners are playing technically two more games of a 3-game stretch at night. So because I have a lot of time because, nobody understands sarcasm. I am a part-time worker with minimum wage.
Well, John, there's always a solution. Crypto. I'm joking. Besides that, yeah, you still gotta grind.
Mm-hmm.
That's always gonna happen. But you gotta find your way around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I'm in the final moments of this pay-per-view. Thank God. Even though there were some good moments, a lot of good wrestlers I still remember.
Yeah.
That are still active.
I was watching a lot of because for the first time since the first week of November, I was at my house doing nothing, but that's a different conversation. And I'm not going to talk about it. But I was watching a lot of the Maven YouTube channel, and he brings a lot of insights to the way he was treated. And he basically just says they took care of me, they looked out for me, but they still forced me to do a job, sick or hurt. So the business hasn't changed, but
Yep.
it really does show you that while wrestling will always get a lot of negative publicity, yeah, they will look out for you. They will look out for you. But if you don't do what they tell you and you keep going against what the WWE brand, they'll say, well, we'll find someone cheaper and better. So,
yeah, not far off from sports, am I right?
now, what was I going to say? while WWE is like cannibalizing a lot of smaller promotions, there's still place where WWE can put you because they bought that luchador promotion.
Yeah, AAA.
And they're promoting a lot of the luchadors. They also got TNA, so if you suck, they can also put you over there because like someone was telling me, imagine Vince McMahon would ever team up with a small rival, even though TNA wasn't really considered
TNA
anything.
was an equivalent, but back in the day, you could say they were considerably a rival, like around like the late 2000s.
Mm-hmm. So, yep.
Yeah, stuff changes, John Jay. If you've seen how TNA were, they were back in the day. They had a TV deal. They had reputable wrestlers like a Sting, like
Mhm.
Hulk Hogan, Kurt Angle, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, like Kevin Nash, Booker T. And now they have a bunch of no names. All due respect, I do know who they are, but relative to the general audience, not a lot of people watch pro wrestling. So, relatively enough, the general audience don't know who these talents are. And you're trying to develop them over a grand medium. I wouldn't mind being part of the WWE umbrella. And
Mhm.
most of these guys are getting paid more than back in the territory days. So,
I know,
especially with legitimate contracts, they'll cover your health insurance.
I know, because I've been seeing a lot of dopey YouTube channels that like dive into, and again, like in the words of Corey Davis, we never jump into the political sphere, but there is some idiot who has a YouTube channel where it's like his channel is like all like, I fight for every minority group in the country. But one of the reasons why his YouTube channel popped in my feed was everyone was talking about John Cena.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, I love John Cena. He's one of the few white boys I like, stupid idiot.
Whoa.
But hey,
Whoa.
that's kind of messed up. Like, I don't even like that term when someone says that, but that's what this
You're one of the good ones, John Jay. You're one of the real Niners fans. I know you.
Anyway,
I know who you voted for. Wait,
here's the
what?
point about when he was talking about John Cena. I love John Cena. I used to watch wrestling, blah 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 blah. And then he's like, then he starts to go in his little goofy YouTube thing about, and he basically like talks about like, let's talk about the Samoans, huh? Let's talk about the Samoans. Like, and this guy is like, who he tries to say, oh, I fight for the little guy, for being pushed around. He starts going after the Samoan, wrestlers. What this guy probably doesn't know, and he's probably not from the West Coast. The Rock. He basically said The Rock is not black. Like he had the nerve to say that.
Oh yeah, I hate that conversation when like they denounce because you know about his father, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is Soul Rocky Johnson a black professional wrestler?
Mm-hmm.
He ended up dating one of his friends was actually a Samoan wrestler. He went out with his I think there was a daughter or sister.
So basically,
Yeah,
The Rock's father is from Canada, black from Canada. So yeah. And so when his father was traveling, just like any wrestler of that day, there were like top promoters in every region, and everyone knew Vince's father dominated the Northeast. And so if you were in the Northeast, there are so many promotions, but everybody wanted to fight for Vince's dad because Vince's dad will pay him. So apparently he heard that there's a West Coast promotion in Northern California, which now is just a school. Hayward. Hayward is where The Rock's grandfather, Chief Maivia, who was a great promoter on his own, and his wife was one of the pioneer women in the business of wrestling. A lot of people don't talk about that. Okay. Anyway, here's the point about this goofball. There's a reason why the Samoan wrestlers have that nepotism. is because they know how to fight. They know how to wrestle. And one thing about Samoans that, people who are stupid, who don't understand, they're a warrior culture. That's the reason why Samoans are really good at football, rugby, wrestling. Okay? No disrespect to anybody else. Now, has Vince McMahon done horrible practices towards, wrestlers who are black? You can debate that all you want, but one of the reasons why this guy got it wrong is that The Rock left for Hollywood. Triple H and Shawn Michaels were getting old because a lot of people think that Triple H started wrestling at the same time that The Rock. No, Triple H, before he was in WWE,
he was on World Championship Wrestling.
Yeah, so Triple H had a pedigree. So by the time he was in WWE, even though he was like a young, fresh face, he had mileage on him. So Brock Lesnar, I don't know what happened between him and Vince, but after like 2 years, he bolted out of WWE. And so, and it wasn't until like almost a decade later where like he and Vince, were able to work back together. And so the talent was very, very young, and the guys who were old were out the door because, again, a lot of WCW talent were all those late 80s, 90s guys. And the guys who like could be something, and this is the reason that turned me away from wrestling, was I loved Eddie Guerrero, everything he did in WCW, his family. He was not like a guy who can like pick up the mount. Bautista was starting to, get, somewhere in that era. But there was a fresh toy called John Cena. And Jim Ross, who talked about it on the Rich Eisen show several years ago, he's like, this kid had the it factor. He had what Vince wanted, the body, the way he communicated, the way he, took the insults and took them into that rap. And, that's why he got that rap persona. But he was basically a bad guy, and the fans loved it. And because there was nobody there, once they elevated John Cena to the top of the card, that was the direction that they were going. And so this guy got everything wrong. And again, like there's a reason why politics and current events and popular culture do not mix, because popular culture is basically what is going on in everyday life. And so that's one of the things that really ticked me off. And again, Samoans, a lot of Samoan people that don't know live in poverty. A lot of Samoans live in poverty. Okay. But they're a small minority in the United States, mostly in the West Coast area. And so when you really think about it, going back to another video that talked about why Samoans dominate combat and American football and rugby, because they're 4% of the population on the planet, but they dominate any type of combat or any type of attacking sport like football and rugby. And so it's unfair. It's unfair that they have great, like The Rock. When The Rock entered WWE, like everyone knew, man, the grandson of a former promoter, a son of a wrestler, he grew up in wrestling. Like if you take away The Rock, maybe Randy Orton would have been that guy, like all that, maybe he would have been the people's champion. But there was the guy called The Rock, and he was just, and The Rock was just.
Randy Orton wouldn't have been that guy, John Jay. He still had the nepotism stigma into him too.
Yeah, but the point of the matter is that when The Rock became a bad guy, he basically electrified everything. That's why the term, the most electrifying man in sports entertainment, because he is one of the rare people. His grandfather was a promoter and wrestler. His father was a wrestler. His grandmother was a promoter. Yeah. And so when you grow up in that business, and that's the reason why The Rock easily transitioned to Hollywood easier than anybody. Because when Hulk Hogan was doing movies, when you watch those Hulk Hogan movies, they were like crap comedy. But the people who are huge fans of Hulk Hogan, they love it. But when you watch all of The Rock's movies, they're more dramatic. They're more like, it's not comedy. It's just like, even what he tries to do, like even when he did that Kevin Hart movie, like that was funny. The Rock still played a character, you know, and so it's hard to find people like that. And so, and also The Rock realized he's like, I'm not gonna fight to like what John Cena did and all these wrestlers until they get to their 40s, because a lot of these wrestlers have chronic back pain. The Rock was like, he doesn't have chronic back pain, but with all the millions that he's made, he's put so much crap in his body. That's why he looks like a giant Thor or Hulk.
He looks like a veiny pimple.
But when he gets in his 60s, all that stuff he did, like it's going to start to mess him up. So even though he did leave the wrestling industry by the age of 29, because like there are a lot of young wrestlers at 29 just still trying to get in. He was like, he like, that's why there's never going to be a Rock. Like no one is ever going to transcend the business at a very young age and say, you know what? I made so much money in the WWE. I've won the title so many times. Let me just go.
Facts. John Jay, there's a stigma to that because I say this and then people think you're being try hard or you think you don't know the business. John Jay, there's a reason why, and I said this like for wrestling. I said this for basketball. For a kid that wanted to make it, less is more in the right way. Less is more.
Mm-hmm.
Because people think being a wrestler is more than doing a couple of moves. Like you've seen kids probably play around the basketball court before. Mm-hmm. You've seen the younger players play, and every time they're trying to do a couple combinations or a couple flashy moves, and they still can't get past their man, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the same way to get over in the business. And when the terminology of getting over, just getting connection with the crowd. You want the crowd to love you. You want the crowd to be just like you. Say every catchphrase. Get involved in everything you're saying. And then when they're involved in you and in love with you, they're going to be engrossed in what's going on in the match. They're going to react. That's why an elbow drop is still more popular than your 450 splash from the top rope with 20 twists on it.
Mm-hmm.
And most of these guys try to get the move over than the actual person. Like the people's elbow was an accident. You know that already.
Mm-hmm.
Most moves are so like overly coordinated now. People forget what the move's purpose is, or it never gets that much emotional connection. That's why people do it multiple times, and it still doesn't feel like it's doing much until like people get confused and they complain about it online. So you see this, and you see like younger guys, and they want to do all these moves, and then they're just shortening their lifespan, and they get no connection with the crowd.
Yeah, like someone showed me something. The Miz.
Yes.
So
that's actually a great example.
So apparently, again, I have a friend who like he's 24/7 wrestling. He watches like nonstop old stuff. He doesn't get tired of it. Okay. And he was telling me this. I gotta show you something. Daniel Bryan, I never liked him as a WWE champion. First of all, again, this is gonna be kind of messed up to all the fans who like him. The dude is small. Okay. Oh, but what about Rey Mysterio? Rey Mysterio has been fighting since the age of 14. Okay. When he became big, he was still in his teens. He was like 18, 19 in WCW. That's how good he was. He's a luchador by nature. So by the time in 2002, when he entered WWE, he was already fighting in smaller promotions, independent promotions, his father's promotion, his uncle's promotion, the Guerrero's family promotion. So when you look at that,
WCW, ECW, I was already everywhere.
So by the time he showed up, he was more accomplished than Daniel Bryan. Back to Daniel Bryan, he was small, and he suffered serious injury with the stupid storyline. Again,
break the walls down.
There was a real police report where Stephanie McMahon got arrested. People thought it was all fake. It was real because the police officers who arrested her were doing the same stupid stuff that those fake police officers do. They took out notepads. They started writing stuff down. They were wearing suits. They were wearing police loafers. And so Triple H and they thought it was a joke. It was real. When they got to the backstage and got into a real police car, Triple H started to realize, get the lawyers on the phone, get the lawyers on. But remember how wrestling fans are. And so there was a small article at the area that they were, and it was Vince McMahon's daughter was processed at the local time because a lot of the Raws are taped. She was out at 11:47 Eastern Standard Time, so it was probably in the East Coast when she was released back to custody. All charges were dropped. I think going back, Daniel Bryan was getting his ass beat up really badly, and the biggest mistake was where they handcuffed him and Triple H started to whoop his ass. That was a real ass whooping, even though people were like, because he was really getting hit. And there was one moment where he got slammed to the wall and he started screaming in serious pain. And so it really shows you that even WWE brass were like, we don't want this guy, but because he won the title and they had to figure something out. So I never liked Daniel Bryan as a character. But back to The Miz. The Miz basically questioned him that, do you remember when you were WWE champion and you were fighting with the authority and all that stuff? And what happened to you? You were forced to retire for like 3 years before you came back. And then Daniel Bryan was like, yeah, I'm able to take risk. I got my ass beat up. And then Miz was like, guess what?
Oh, the interview from Talking Smack. Yeah, that one.
He says at that time with that interview, he said, I've been wrestling for 12 years and never had any injuries. At the same time, that dude doesn't fight all the time. So I don't know how Triple H or like maybe he has something towards that, because most people after they get released, it's hard to get back in the business. And so it really does show you how, and also USA gave him a TV network. So I think, WWE said, crap, we can't let this guy go because the TV company, and plus the Miz is meant for television. Like he was never meant for that. And so that's the point. And I tell YTC all the time, hopefully he's doing all right, that these wrestlers don't have to wrestle until their 40s anymore. But a lot of these wrestlers who are still fighting came from that era where WWE was the only thing. Now there's a lot of options. And also, what's his name? Mick Foley, during the time when he was in WWE, he also fought in Japan. That's why that hardcore style. And I will say this about Japanese people: they take their craft very seriously. When you go to a baseball, when you go to a baseball game in Japan, there's a lot of baseball etiquette. It's like, this is not America. You cheer at certain moments. When there's a home run, they don't really cheer. They cheer in weird moments. And so, and one thing I've always said, Japanese culture is a warrior culture, is a warrior mentality. They don't like, I say this all the time. If young people had the mentality as Japanese people from Japan, we wouldn't be, like, and I want to say this with the most respect. Young people would understand the upbringings of me and David Corona, because I joke around with Corona. I say, "Yo, Corona, Michael says he's gangster," and then Corona's like, "I'll show him what gangster is."
Praise the Lord.
So never ask Corona or about his past. I'm letting you know that. If you want to ask like something that's a little bit more acceptable, like Corona, like talk about like the stuff back in the day, then he'll tell you, but never talk about, because it's very like rated R, and YouTube will demonetize you because Corona. And again, if I know he's not watching, but I always say this: the stuff that he went through is almost the same thing I've went through. So yeah, we need a little bit of that warrior mentality. Like sometimes arguing online is pretty pointless because who really wins? And then all you do is like you just agitate yourself. And so if someone's gonna be like a moron online, I was like, just screw it, let them be a dick, because it really does show your true colors.
Yep.
Anyway, sorry for that long stuff.
I don't know. It does. I'm almost done with the show. I got like one match left after John Cena versus Chris Jericho for the World's Heavyweight Championship. I'm gonna enjoy Christmas Eve trying to watch some basketball. I don't know if YTC will be available for the Christmas Day games for the NBA.
Well, he's taking the rest of the week off because he had his wisdom teeth pulled out.
Oh shit. Fair enough. I had my root canal earlier around the year. I know how that feels. I have to go for a checkup around February.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we're gonna watch some NBA games. Knicks are still number one, baby. I still don't know if Giannis is even gonna leave the Bucks though. I know you haven't been keeping up with the NBA because you focus on the NFL season.
Oh, I'm not focused on sports anymore. Like I only did the stream yesterday because the season's almost over, and whatever happens in the playoffs, I don't really care. Like I said this, the only way I will do another stream after week 18 if the Niners are in the NFC Championship game and somehow they're in the Super Bowl. But like, yeah, these are my last couple of streams, and then I'm done with YouTube 100%. And if I do return, which I'm probably gonna have some time because I'm thinking about restarting Kick and doing fun things over there, and maybe I'll create a much happier, much better community. And again, no disrespect to all you guys, I have a big warm spot for you guys in my heart, but I don't know why people still want to do this. And like we're about to pass 6 years of 2020, and the world is getting back to normal. And I honestly will pop in on Hangouts every now and then, but I don't know how people can do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours. Nothing, with all due respect.
Is that streaming?
Yeah.
Yeah. It is quite a grind. Sometimes it can be like mentally toiling, especially when like nobody's here.
But
you can still grow an audience somewhat.
But at the same time, like again, and I got a buddy who says this all the time. Tell me something about something without telling me something, and basically, he taught me this. Tell me without telling me that you have nothing to do in life. Streaming. Because like I said, my Sundays, I'm going back. I'm doing rec leagues again. I'm getting my feet back. I'm not sitting in my house on Sundays. Like YTC even made a video. He'll still do his team, but he won't do like the whole days anymore. So for example, Thursday night, Monday night, or Sunday night, he'll do his teams on those night games. But the regular season, he'll do his games and then he's done. But Get On Kid has his team, and so it's more better when everyone has a turn to do it. Versus like just like, but eventually, like life is going to change. Like TRL last year, he streamed all those 2 weeks of the winter break. I don't know if he's going to do anything anytime this week or next week. So I wanted to do the Cal versus Hawaii game, but that's at the same time as David McNiner, Corey Davis Wednesday.
Oh yeah.
And then this probably will be my last Corey Davis Wednesday. I know they'll still go in the off season, but I'm saying I'm only going to be doing the pick'em. So again, I'm leading by example. Because like I said, I'm trying to transition away from YouTube. It's going to be hard, but yeah.
Hey, John Jay, you're a man I expect somebody like you to always make your final decision. But if that's the way you want to make your life, and then you want to transition later into content, later in life, I understand. That's how it is.
I'm 36.
Yeah.
I'm almost 40. I never thought. I was like always the youngest person in the room. Always the youngest person in the room. Not
And then
anymore.
you're like 44,
I
and then
am.
time flies.
Yeah, I'm the oldest person in the room.
Oh, that'll be me someday. I
Also,
know that happens. I remember I was here like doing content early in life. I remember I had like boom, like I had like 20 subscribers. I thought nothing was going for me. Later in life, made it shot up to 400. I wish it was a bit more. I know I have to do more to make more. But you gotta transition content. Hell, I don't even do wrestling that much anymore. How sports was like your vice, your enjoyment, then your audience made you feel worse with it. That's how I felt about wrestling. Because everybody thinks they're a smart ass when
well,
talking about professional wrestling.
every industry like WWE is corporate. They're a corporate model. You know, this year, YTC's done all the pay-per-views, and I've been very fortunate that even though I don't use my Xbox anymore, I've been trying to buy the new one, but after what happened, with my job situation, which
Oh, yeah. Save your money.
I'm not going to bring up that thing anymore because I'm still pissed off about it, but I have to always bring it up. I wanted to get me a new Xbox. I wanted to buy me a bunch of stuff, but the Xbox has been allowing me to watch more content in sports. The Warriors, the Giants, Sharks, even though I don't follow hockey like YTC does. Of course, the Earthquakes, because they're the local team, and of course the Giants. But
Oh yeah, San Jose Earthquakes from
but the
MLS.
point is that when you have Logan, no wait,
Jake Paul.
Jake Paul's
Are
the
you talking about the
boxer.
wrestler or boxer?
It's Logan. Logan Paul
Yeah.
is there not because he's wrestling. He's promoting that stupid energy drink.
Prime.
And every time I watch it, right next to the announce table is the Prime bottle. Then the chairs, the ladders,
a lot of monetization.
okay, those stuff has Slim Jim on it and other stuff. And then it used to just be the W or the WWF or the WWE. Now you have corporate companies putting their thing around the ring. Okay. And so they have become corporate. And so once everything becomes corporate, there is now a new structure. It's called make money and fuck the product. It's the same thing in basketball.
Hell, soccer.
Okay.
Hell, soccer, it gets worse.
I'll bring up that in a moment. Let's go.
Wait, hold on, John Jay. Let me try to transition this a bit. So you know what the Serie A is, right?
Yeah.
The Italian league for soccer.
Yeah. And
they were trying to transition a game involving Como versus AC Milan to I think it was supposed to be Perth, Australia. They were trying to do it over in a stadium. But here's the thing. They don't have to do that. They try to regulate that when exposing the product happens in the preseason. You can go to New York and try to show what Premier League games are before the Premier League starts. They don't have to go abroad to the United States to show what soccer is because we already have soccer.
Mm-hmm.
While the Serie A, we know the Italian owners are trying to do this because their stadiums are still a disarray.
Yeah, don't get me started with that.
Oh yeah, they're making like they don't have the financial pull they had back in the 2000s. Like you could see the superstars they had in the 2000s. You see the superstars they have now. They don't have collective superstars like the Spanish league or the Italian or the English league. And now they get backwater players or washed up players from back in the day or young players they haven't heard of yet.
Mm-hmm.
And now, like, their way of doing this, like, if you're having your own countrymen and your own players protest, they don't want to spread out the product that makes it feel unauthentic. Then it shows how wasteful these companies are. Even with the NBA, they want to make everything so scarce to watch so you can spread thin their money to other people that want to be part of their club. And you're seeing this also in the NBA. Why the hell do I have to see an NBA game on Peacock? That's supposed to be more communal. Sports are supposed to be a communal, active part of a brand. Soccer is the most communal sport you could play. Anybody can pick up a ball, kick around with their friends, and play. That's what's the beauty. That's what makes it the beautiful game.
Not really. I got to disagree with you on that point because I actually know about the Italian situation, and I'm going to get that in a moment. You brought up the NBA.
Yeah.
Why the hell do you think they created the most stupidest in-season tournament known as the in-season tournament as the most dumbest name? And the team that wins the title, the Lakers did it the first year. I don't know who won it this year. They
The
didn't
Knicks.
they didn't want it. Apparently there was a report that they don't want that banner or that thing because
Yeah.
what did they really accomplish? Now, Adam Silver sold NBA to the Chinese market because in China they love basketball.
China.
They love basketball. Okay. It also has 1 billion people. Okay. 1 billion people. Okay. There's a lot of people who love basketball. The great thing about China, it's way
China.
across the Atlantic Ocean. It's like in America. When we wake up, Premier League games are going on. Now, in the East Coast, it's probably like much later in the morning and probably early in the afternoon. In the West Coast,
Yeah, around like 8
It's-
like you get their games around like 6 a.m.
it's 4:30.
Damn.
Okay. But there are people who wake up that early to watch it. But here's the point. There's always that 9:30 game and even sometimes a 12 o'clock game in the West Coast. Okay. And so in China, it's like watching the Premier League game if you're watching the Lakers or the Warriors, who are pretty good at this moment. And so say you're waking up at 5, 6 a.m. and you're watching the night game. That's a lot of people watching basketball in the West Coast market. That's why that in-season tournament is in Las Vegas. A lot of people don't understand the time zone. It rotates in the American time. Okay. Recently, there was a boxing event known as Terrence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez. All of the prelim cards and all of the undercards in America was nighttime. Guess what time the Canelo and Terrence Crawford fight kicked off in the West Coast? It was 11:30 in Las Vegas, and it was 10:30 my time. Guess what's going on in Qatar and in Saudi Arabia and all those Middle Eastern? They're waking up. They're waking up. You want to know who sucks? If you live in the East Coast, because that means that fight is kicking off at 1:30 in the morning.
Oh God.
And so
That's why I always get results.
That's why sports never ever it's not the same. It's not the same. Okay, because the Premier League and the Champions League have to air where people are up. Here's the problem. The Champions League, it's during the weekday and people are working. Okay? People are working. And so it's difficult for someone who works and wants to watch the Champions League. That's why the Premier League does really well because it's on Saturday. A lot of the games are on Saturday. Now, there are games during the week, but when a lot of your games are on the weekend, kids can watch it and the American audience can watch it. Okay? But the funny thing about it is that all this stuff has been commercialized. When Amazon and Netflix are buying sports rights, you're basically telling the consumer, you want to watch it, pay for it. And so there was a funny thing. There's a guy called LeBron James. He was at his son's high school game. Now I don't know if it was his son who's in the NBA now or his other son who's younger. But there was a reporter from the Atlantic watching that game, so it must have been probably LeBron's oldest son who's in the NBA. And LeBron was seen on that Stream East that was taken down because they committed a lot of illegal things. But the guy from the Atlantic wrote a perfect article on the Atlantic. Said, it is this bad when a guy who's worth $1 billion from his NBA contracts, his shoe deals, his sponsorship deals, everything that's thrown at him, where he has to use piracy to watch sports. That's how bad it's got. Okay? That's how bad it's got. And so that's why you're seeing ESPN and Fox combine, because people still watch Fox and people still watch ABC. Okay? I know there are people who are more conservative who watch the news on the Fox, but ESPN has ABC, it has Hulu. So if you want to rewatch your shows and all that stuff, Hulu, ABC, and then Disney Plus for people who love. I've never liked Disney, but
it's not Disney Plus is not much.
But the point is that if you're a person who doesn't care about all like all the reviews and you watch it because the nostalgia and all that stuff, ESPN and the Fox plan. Oh, and then there's also NFL Network, NFL Red Zone. I was having this conversation over the weekend, and people are kind of stupid, but no one can beat that. You get 2 local affiliate networks. You get the Fox Sports 1, Fox Sports 2, and the Big 10 network. So you got your sports on the Fox. Then you have ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN News, and all the other ESPN channels. The SEC network, and they also have the ACC network. Oh, but we want to watch NFL. Well, they have Monday Night Football. They got the Manning Cast. Oh, they have the NFL Network, NFL Red Zone. You can't compete with that. And that's why I said this about a year ago. One day in the future, there's going to be a thing known as consolidation. And it's going to be like this. If you still have your local sports and all your local broadcast stuff that caters to your audience, the markets are going to start to do that. They're going to consolidate. Okay? It's going on with the Bay Area. Peacock, which owns 4 networks, which are going to close down, of the NBC sports channels regionally.
Yeah.
You get Peacock, and then if you want your local sports in the Bay Area, if you're a local sports fan, Peacock makes sense for you. It's called consolidation. Okay? It's called consolidation. Because people have to understand the NFL, MLB, NBA still relies on local broadcasting to connect with the franchise, which is basically the American sports market, which is the banner of all sports. Okay? And so that's the problem when it comes to basketball. Now, you also brought up Italian soccer. There's a great YouTube channel, and I'm probably going to start to review that on my kick, because if I do it, I'll get demonetized and flagged, where they explain things. And they have a really good detail about the Levi situation, which I'm going to react one day. But here's the point. In 1990, Italy hosted the World Cup. 1990. Okay. Almost 40 years. Okay. Almost 40 years. They invested in stadiums that had the infrastructure of the 80s and the new technology of the 90s. But here's the problem when it comes to Italian infrastructure. Okay. The cities own the stadiums, the teams don't. Teams don't. And so in the 90s, all the way to like 2009, Italian soccer was considered the pillar of success. But something started to happen. Scandals and scandals and corruption. And of course, people,
Corruption.
and of course, clubs associating themselves with organizations that are not, peaceful. And so you had that thing. And so a lot of the players were like, it's not really good over here. Let's go to the Premier League. Let's go to La Liga. Let's go to Germany. Okay.
Yeah. Shout out to the scandal from Juventus.
Okay. Let's go Germany. The Germans have the best model. It's called 51% supporter ownership and 49% owners. Why do they set it up that way? Because in Germany, soccer has always been grassroots. It's always been grassroots. Okay. They are the most grassroots when it comes to their clubs because the people get to have their opinions. That's why the German second division is way better than the Premier League's second division, the EFL.
Facts.
Why? Because in the second division, that's where grassroots meets high tier professionalism. And so guess who were the first Americans that were going overseas? In the 90s, those players went to the second division in Germany. Okay. That's why we have a lot of German Americans. And it goes back to World War II. It's a long story, but I'm not going to bore anybody. But here's the point. Steve Cherundolo, if you're an MLS guy, has been very successful with LAFC, which Crazy Juice hates every time I bring up. He played his entire career in the second division. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Fun fact, his team that he played for is now in the first league, and they've been very successful. But it really shows you that Steve Cherundolo was playing in the German second was really good. It really shows you that a lot of American players in the 90s and 2000s were playing. Okay. There. Also, Germany, apparently, I found out, if you're an American, apparently there's a law where, like, if you're an American, you have easy passage to Germany. There's another thing why Americans have a lot of kids in Germany. Okay. So Christian Pulisic went to Germany to start his club career. And he did not have to, become a citizen. He didn't need to do this. He was still an American with American papers living in Germany. Okay. And so that's why a lot of our young guys go to Germany, because that's a good way for them, for the best leagues in Europe to find them. And guess who goes over there? A lot of Premier League clubs, a lot of Spanish league clubs, a lot of French league clubs. Shows you. Okay. That's why Dortmund, they discovered Haaland. They saw something in Pulisic where, he's really excelled American expectation. Oh, wow, this guy is really good. He deserves to be in Europe. That guy from England, Bellingham, he was there.
Bellingham, yeah.
And many others. It's a farm. Because the owners who took over apparently in 2017, before that organization was in a financial crisis. So the owners have decided to do this. Our club will have a mix of a lot of talent that we're going to sell, and we're going to buy cheap European talent that will be the cornerstone that will be on the team for 5 years, and basically they've done a really good model. They care more about exciting football and grassroots football, and that's why they don't win a lot of titles. Fun
They used to back in the day, but
fun
yeah,
fact:
they changed.
Bayern Munich, which has 36 titles, compared to Dortmund that have won 8, and the last time they won one, I think was about just recently.
Around like 2013.
So that's their model. That's how they love doing it. Okay, and that's why I believe that if there is an American television entity that realize, hey, if you want to watch the future and you want to put like a farm team in Europe, Dortmund is a good way. Is a good way. And Dortmund, they take also the money from the TV deals and all that stuff, and they invested for the club. They don't invest it in the players. And when they do sell a player because they have a proven track record, sometimes they're sold for way more than they are. There's a lot of hits, but there's also a lot of misses. So there's a lot of players that went to Europe and other places that were really good, and then they flopped. They went back to Dortmund and they just shined there. And
Yep.
that's a good model. Like MLS needs to look at that model. Hey, let's raise a salary cap. Let's develop the players that want to play in Europe, but the players that we can create and create a culture, because this is one thing that MLS has missed. Okay. There's a kid called Paxton Aronson. His brother plays in Leeds. Brendan Erickson.
Brandon Aronson, yes. He plays also for the U.S. national team.
You have all these soccer pundits who are stupid, who are not even native born to America. There's a guy called Tactical Manager. His name is Filippo. He was born in Brazil, but because his father got a American passport, he got to live in America and he got to live in Brazil. And then you have this moron who doesn't know shit about American culture because he looks at it with the other national teams. Okay. And so he said this, Paxton Erickson, you're 22 years old, man. You were playing in the second division in Germany, and you let MLS buy you for a designated player contract, meaning that you're going to be there for a while. You just destroyed your career, and you're going to be ace. Now, he did not say the way I said it, and I'm like, no, you don't understand, Mr. Filippo, even though I wish he dropped the link in the chat so I can educate him, but these are podcasters with real credentials and make real.
I don't want to waste your time.
So here's the point. Paxton sat down with the CBS Golasso people, okay? And I like Chuck, what's his name? Chuck Davis. Charlie Davis, there you go. And then I don't know the other dude, but the other dude played for the San Jose Earthquakes. Here's the point. They said a lot of people are criticizing you that you became a designated player at only 22. And he's like, I was looking at all my options, and I think the best option for me to enhance my career is playing America. Because everyone has acknowledged MLS has gotten much better than a decade ago. 10 years ago, you still had Henry, you had that guy from Steve Gerald, Wayne Rooney was entering the league. You had all these aging guys who were really good, but our young guys stopped playing after the 2014 World Cup. And so from 2014 to Paxton Erickson returning, everyone's been saying, how do we entice the American players who are not succeeding or not getting the playing time? And Don Garber sat down with Landon Donovan, who actually put a toupee on his head, which is kind of hilarious, and Tim Howard. And he said, when I watch the national team, I love watching these players, but I don't watch them in Europe. And so one of the things that he said that we have failed is that we have failed to have committed American players to grow the league. Landon Donovan has been criticized because of the Christian Pulisic situation where he decided to take the summer off. And they're like, Landon Donovan, you shouldn't be talking. You played in the Galaxy. You know, imagine if you were in Europe, you probably would have had 100 goals with the national team. But the point is that there has to be someone who is very successful in the national team who could be the face, because that's what you need. Okay. And so a lot of these pundits get really agitated. Oh, Pochettino is taking 30% to 40% of the roster MLS. We're going to lose the World Cup.
Wow. Yeah, I did hear that complaint by the fans.
I'm like, okay, if there was a World Cup of American football, we have a giant talent pool of American football players, and we can even jump into the collegiate level because they're really, really good. Okay. I don't need to talk about basketball in the Olympics. We own everyone. Okay. Imagine if there was a World Cup of basketball, which is FIBA of America, which the college players now do. The professionals don't do it no more. And it's lost its luster. That's why the Olympics is much more. The World Baseball Classic. Everyone knows that Americans have been playing baseball for so long, but we taught the Japanese how to play baseball, and we taught the Latin Americans how to play baseball. And so they have taken what we've taught them and they've made the baseball better. And when you look at baseball, and I know this is going to be kind of messed up to the American fan base, Dominicans are really good at baseball. It's a poor country. Baseball is your way out. Japan.
Spear. Ooh, in the midsection.
Japan. They take baseball very serious. And so their top stars play in America. Ichiro Suzuki made that possible, that Japanese players should be in America. But America is still king at baseball. We're not kings at soccer, and will never be unless you do it this way. Okay? You award, because I hate watching Eric Winaldo. Like, if you ever go to Gold's TV and listen to the stupid things he said, that guy's the biggest hater. But here's my point that I want to bring up about Eric Winaldo. We probably are going to lose Tyler Adams because he suffered an MCL, and he said he'll be pretty good in 3 months. But will he be like 100% when the World Cup starts? I don't know. Apparently, Chris Richards, I read something before I hopped on, was taken off the field.
Oh, yeah, he was injured in the Arsenal game.
On a stretcher. Okay. Guess who finally came back after over a year of rehabbing? Ricardo Pepi, who I think is better than Balogun, but Balogun under Pochettino has become a very dangerous striker. Shows you how good Pochettino is. He's a really good coach. So you keep the chain of command, and Balogun will be our number 9. He'll be our striker. Christian Pulisic is having a really good year, but this is the problem why MLS is better. They get to rehab in the winter. And then they start the season, preseason in February, and then March they start to kick off the season. Because you're resting your body. You're resting your body. This moron is so dumb that in May, the teams are fighting for a knockout spot in the Champions League, the Europa, and now the Conference League. Oh, and they're also fighting for their domestic trophy for finishing at first place, which is a stupid concept that me and Get On Kid, I don't understand. Even Get On Kid said the Mexicans have a playoff system. Shout out to them.
Yeah, Argentina has a playoff system as well, but it's flawed. It's really flawed.
So that's probably like the true grassroots, that flawed system that it really does award fairness to every team. And I think it's better than how the Premier League, like you're one, you're two, you're three. Basically, there's like so many teams that you have the good teams playing teams that shouldn't be there, and that's called more fairness. If you want, let's give these small communities and these small teams an opportunity. Yeah, okay. So that's about it.
Like, give them more money? No, absolutely not.
Okay. Remember, Argentinians are like very like. If you've ever met an Argentinian person, they are like, they shit talk is love talk. That's like, if you're not being chewed out by an Argentinian, they don't like you. They're very loud, obnoxious, but you have to understand the culture. Okay. One of my grandfather's sister married an Argentinian, and it was always arguing. And then when one day I asked my grandaunt, because I think that's the term, and she told me in Spanish, "Oh, I love him so much that sometimes I have to yell at him because, jealousy is a thing in that culture. And also, if you're a dude, you're like, if you're not like on your lady, you don't love her. So it's a weird concept.
It's a weird dynamic because it doesn't show that you're being passionate. They care that you be very, very loud because they think it's their way of being passionate with you. I guess that's just my way of interpreting, because I know people that like there's certain people that like a toxic, very loud relationship. Me personally, I don't mind if it's boring, but I know people that are like to just start an argument just so they can feel something and make sure, and that just shows that like they display affection.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's practically it, John. I'm gonna probably cut it off short here, though.
Right.
I appreciate your time coming in.
Okay.
Hope you have a great holiday next time I see you, man.
You too.
Good luck to whatever you got going on.
Yep.
And thanks for everybody coming in here. I hope you guys have a happy holidays coming into the holiday weekend. That's it for me over in the DSC show. We're gonna cut it off here.